Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. My name is Nabila Safha from the class of Popular Literature course. I would like to reviewing Sandra Brown's Low Pressure by describing several elements of popular literature. Sandra Brown is the author of 17 New York Times bestsellers, including Tailspin, Seeing Red, Sting, Mean Street, Friction, Deadline, and Rainwater. Writing professionally since 1981, Brown has published over 75 novels and has upwards of 80 million copies of her books in print worldwide. Her work has been translated into 34 languages. After marrying Michael Brown, Sandra worked as a weathercaster and news reporter. She took to writing when she lost her television job. Michael challenged Sandra to take up the writing profession that she very much wanted to accomplish. Sandra's career as an author started in 1981. It was because of Marilyn Baxter, whom she met at a writers' conference, that her first book, Loves and Core, got published. Sandra used many pen names since she was writing for many publications and started using her real name from 1983. She is a much-wanted speaker and a guest television hostess. Although Sandra could not complete her study at Texas Christian University as she left college in 1968 to marry Michael, she was overwhelmed when she was honored with Doctorate of Human Letter by her alma mater later. Sandra was named Thriller Master by International Thriller Writers Association. She was also felicitated with Texas Medal of Arts Award for Literature and Romance Writers of America's Lifetime Achievement Award, AC Corinne Awards, and American Businesswomen's Association's Distinguished Circle of Success. Not only award, but Sandra's book, Friendsmade, was also made a TV movie. In 2012, Sandra was made the president of the Mystery Writers in America. Most gorgeous and highly talented Sandra enjoys her life with family and friends, especially her grandchildren. About the novel, Low Pressure by Sandra Brown is about Bellamy Liston, that was only 12 years old when her older sister Susan was killed on a stormy Memorial Day. Bellamy's fear of storm is a legacy of the tornado that destroyed the crime scene, along with her memory of what really happened during the day's most devastating moments. Now, 18 years later, Bellamy has written a sensational, best-selling novel based on Susan's murder. Because the book was inspired by the tragic event that still pains her family, she published it under a pseudonym to protect them from unwanted publicity. But when an opportunistic reporter for a tabloid newspaper discovers that the book is based on fact, Bellamy's identity is exposed along with the family scandal. Moreover, Bellamy becomes the target of an unnamed assailant who either wants the truth about Susan's murder to remain unknown or, even more threatening, is determined to get vengeance for a man wrongfully accused and punished. In order to identify her stalker, Bellamy must confront the ghosts of her past, including Dan Carter, Susan's wayward and reckless boyfriend, and an original suspect in the murder case. Dan, with this and other stains on his past, is intent on clearing his name, and he needs Bellamy's cell memory to do it. but her safeguarded recollections once unlocked posed dangers that neither could foresee nor put their life in peril. As Bellamy delves deeper into the mystery surrounding Susan's slaying, she discovers disturbing elements of the crime which call into question the people she holds most dear. Haunted by partial memories, conflicted over her feelings for Dan, but determined to learn the truth. She won't stop until she reveals Susan's killer. That is, unless Susan's killer strikes her first. In this discussion, there are several popular elements of the selected novel. There are the popularity level, the artistry of escape or escapism, hero or heroine's appearance, familiar or unfamiliar plot provided by the story, the power of setting usage, the power of choice of words, and the last one is characterization. The novel, entitled Low Pressure by Sandra is one of the many literary works that won the New York Times Award. The novel sold around 5,000 copies in 2 days and sold around 10,000 copies for 2 weeks. Because of the high interest in low-pressure novel, this novel has to be reprinted in succession. Due to its unique story, this novel has been translated into several languages, such as Spanish, German, Chinese, Korean, Arabic, and Indonesian. Fans of the novel Low Pressure hope that this novel can be adapted to a film. Fans of the novel believe that Low Pressure has a good story quality. The story is not just about the investigation of death on a memorial day, but rather how the puzzle in each chapter is solved. The presentation of stories of the murder of Susan Slistern shows that the novel is included in popular literature. The murder mysteries and how it can be resolved are incredible. Plus, there is a romantic vibes between hero and heroine that makes the story more interesting. As a popular literary novel, there are several scenes in Low Pressure that show the artistry of escapism. Escapism is a way of a person's attempt to create a good feeling because of dissatisfaction with his life. The heroine in this novel, Denton Carter, spends his days partying at a club in London because he has been fired from his job. The reasons for the dismissal was that Denton had been accused of a murder in the past which affected his reputation as a pilot. Bellamy Liston, as the heroine Carter in the Low Pressure novel, escaped her sadness due to her sister's death by rewriting the Memorial Day story for days. Rewriting a dark event can indeed reduce feelings of sadness. The feeling of sadness is considered to have vanished since it was poured into writing. Each character in the Low Pressure novel has its advantage and disadvantage. Like the heroine Bellamy Liston, she is a representative of a figure who is taught in dealing with several problems. As a reader, I put much more respect to Bellamy's struggle in exposing truth and justice. Unfortunately, Bellamy is still too naive in responding to the actions of the antagonists in the novel. She assumed that everyone could turn out well. In fact, the antagonists were putting masks in front of him. Then, Denton Carter, as a hero in Low Pressure novel, is a person who has a strong independent, and intelligent attitude. The reader is impressed by Denton's attitude, which persists amidst the scorn of others. The bad side of this character is the arrogant and rude attitude towards a woman. But this trait has gradually disappeared since meeting Bellamy. Sandra Brown successfully presents an unexpected storyline. In each chapter, the reader seems to be invited to think about who is behind the murder of Susan Liston. Sandra Brown made several figures to be seen as the perpetrators of the killings. The first person suspected of killing Susan was Denton Carter, since he was her ex. But after passing a few chapters, Denton was not the perpetrator of the murder. The second suspicion is Stephen, who is in fact the stepbrother of Susan. Although Stephen claimed to have been treated poorly by Susan, he never held a grudge against Susan. After the main character collects empirical evidence, it turns out the real culprit is Olivia, who is Susan's stepmother. This was unpredictable before, considering Olivia had a polite and loving attitude towards her children. Olivia claimed that the reason she killed Susan was because she knew of her treatment of Stephen's cruelty. Because of its romantic suspense genre, low pressure novel has settings related to solving mysteries. The first setting is the police station, where Bellamy Liston and Denton Carter are reporting a terror at Bellamy's house. The setting of the second place is in court, where at that time Denton was accused of killing Susan on Memorial Day. The setting of the third place was in the forest, when Bellamy and Denton were looking for a clue about Susan's murder. As a literary device, diction refers to the choice of words and style of expression that an author makes and uses in a work of literature. Diction can have a great effect on the tone of a piece of literature and how readers perceive the characters. Sandra Brown wrote a low-pressure novel with diction filled with metaphors and irony. This is a way for the writer to make the reader interpret the meaning in the novel. Metaphora is a form that supposes one thing to be another form. An example is when Denton Carter said, "I cannot miss the incident of light coming out of the cave," which means Denton had to take this golden opportunity to trap Ray Stickland, who terrorized Bellamy. To be ironic is to pack sarcastic sentences with good language. An example is when Bellamy met Denton at the airport and said, "What a nice style." That means Denton was seen in a mess because of taking care of Susan's murder case. In my opinion, the portrayal of the character and the characterization of the low-pressure novel is fairly common. The main character of women who tend to be beautiful but helpless, met with the main character of a handsome and reliable man. Likewise, the depiction of the antagonist who will eventually lose and regret his actions. In conclusion, in my opinion, the portrayal of the character and the characterization of the low-pressure novel is fairly common. The character woman who turned beautiful but helpless. Besides, Low Pressure is a romantic suspense novel that is successful in attracting the interest of many people. That is because the novel has an unpredictable plot or have a plot twist and selection of the right diction. That's all of my reviewing of Low Pressure by Sandra Brown. Thank you. Wassalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh.